For the last 16 years, Dr. Sue Ellen Reed served as head of Indiana's schools.
Her tenure as Indiana's longest-serving superintendent of public instruction will end with the election of one of two men this November. In a debate this week in Bloomington, both Republican Tony Bennett and Democrat Richard Wood tried to make the case on why each of them is the best person for the job. It's not the highest profile race in this year's state election, but whoever is elected as state superintendent of public education will have direct influence over the lives of young Hoosiers.
The state superintendent of public instruction needs to be someone who can reach across the aisle, who is elected in a partisan position but has to act in a nonpartisan manner. I do believe that has been a strength of Sue Ellen Reed during her 16 years as a state superintendent, and that is something I would like to continue.
We in education need to take a little different mentality and mindset to the process. It's my opinion that anything other than the best educational system in the United States is really unacceptable. You know, our goal should be that any business that wants to relocate and have the best trained workforce in the United States, they need to choose Indiana.
That theme was prevalent throughout the debate earlier this week at Bloomington South High School.
We need to be able to make sure kids identify their strengths. We need to make sure we identify educational programs for those kids, and we need to get them in position so they can be successful and competitive with kids from all around the world.
Bennett, a new superintendent at Greater Clark County Schools in Jeffersonville, believes that accountability is extremely important and helps determine school success.
No Child Left Behind is the issue. It is the vehicle we have used to insert true accountability into our schools. So being an incredibly strong advocate of accountability, I feel very strongly that No Child Left Behind is a very valuable tool for schools because it holds us measurable. That being said, there are issues. One, it needs to become more user-friendly, and we need to intertwine Public Law 221, which is a state's accountability system, and No Child Left Behind. We need to make those processes easier for taxpayers to use, for students to use, for parents to use.
Although Bennett is a fan of No Child Left Behind, he does believe that more changes need to be made to the initiative.
We also need to take a look at how we calculate and how we involve English as a new language students and special needs students.
Wood, a retired superintendent from Tippecanoe County, had more harsh words concerning No Child Left Behind.
It is an honorably intentioned plan, but in its design it is flawed. The problem with No Child Left Behind as it exists today is it dwells in negativity and does not celebrate success. In order for the plan to be successful, we're going to have to recognize those accomplishments by school districts and schools as they move students from point A to point B, rather than focusing on the few areas where perhaps mastery has not been attained.
The candidates took questions from a panel of reporters and the audience during the debate. Many of those questions centered on standardized testing and teacher training.
There are no good options for kids who do not finish high school. We must provide opportunities for them. The traditional high school model has not worked for the last 100 years for those kids. We are going to have to come up with something different.
And while agreeing much of the time when it came to these issues, the two candidates explained their differences are mostly in their backgrounds and experience. For instance, Dr. Wood retired after 19 years as a superintendent. Dr. Bennett is in his second year as a current superintendent.
Each of the candidates encourage voters to take a look at their websites for more information, drtonybennett.com and richardwood.org.